siguro, Sir
NJ.
Dr. Novi.
NJ na lang.
I think po ah, ayan. Ayan, si Dr. Novi. Okay, so Dr. Novi, I leave the plenary na po sa inyo. Take it away.
Sige. Thank you for the introduction, and it's an honor to be able to discuss about mental health and to talk about it because for one, I'm a advocate talaga of mental health. But before that, I'd like to greet you in my own language. Mayong gabi sa tanan, kamusta man mo? In Tagalog, kamusta kayo? So, yeah. In a scale of 1 to 10, how are you today? 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest. You can chat your scale kung kamusta kayo ngayon. 9, 8, sige, pretty much good. 7, 9, 8, 7, 7, 8, 7, 9. Sige, I think with that kind of range, hindi ako masyadong mahirapan with my talk. But today, I will be talking about how does the Iran-Israel and US conflict affects our mental health. Or what could be the psychological explanation for all the things that we are currently experiencing right now. Maybe I'd start with the definition of what is mental health. So mental health refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So when we talk about mental health, it is our overall psychological functioning. Kasama na dito at ating emotional, ating psychological, at ating social well-being. Kaya minsan when we are isolated, ayaw nating makipaghalubilo, then that also signals something about our mental health. Because with mental health, it helps us, number one, it manages stress, it maintain relationships, it make decisions, and our functionality in our day-to-day life. On the other hand, stress naman is our response to pressure, challenges, and perceived stress. So, threats, I mean. So, therefore, mental health is parang overall natin, stress is how we respond. How we respond to pressure, how we respond to challenges, how we respond to the perceived stress. And when we are not able to cope or respond positively, or when the situation exceed our ability to cope, then probably it has implication into our mental health. And na-activate na yan yung fight or flight response. So, ano ba yung fight and flight response? Example nito is this one. You know, parang nabibingi ka na minsan, yung paningin mo is hindi na siya clear sometimes, merong fast breathing, merong slow digestions, yung bowel movement natin, there's muscle tension, we're not able to relax. So there is some sort of a biological response sometimes because that's how we respond to stress or to the situation. So these are common signs of stress. We have physical signs, emotional signs, behavioral signs, cognitive signs. Normally, pag hindi natin alam masyado yung mental health in general is what we look at is only the emotional minsan or what we look at is the physical minsan. Or minsan yung behavioral. But I think because we are Filipinos and we are conditioned na parang okay lang, minsan kahit pagod na, like we disregard the behavioral signs. Normally, what we look at is the, in my experience, the physical and emotional. We only realize the behavioral and cognitive when we are already in crisis. But normally, we look at the physical and the emotional. The behavioral, parang, kasi kulang ako ng tulog. Or minsan, kasi may problem sa bahay, etc., etc. And we always try to rationalize everything to the point na when we are already in crisis, nakakalimutan na natin ano ba yung cause minsan. So, how do we differentiate now mental health and stress? For mental health, it is the overall. How we think, how we feel, and how we cope with life. However, stress is the response. How we respond to challenges, how we respond to the perceived threat, how we respond to the pressure. For stress, usually it's temporary. Like, if we try to look at it in a clinical perspective, in the next 5 days or 2 weeks, 5 to 14 days, magiging okay tayo because it's just temporary. But if it is already more than that, then that is already affecting our mental health. How we think, how we feel, and how we cope with life. Stress is a common reaction, but prolonged stress can already affect our mental health. Kaya nga, while listening sa inyo kanina, yung mga BAM, how we respond to that one, that's a common reaction. Kasi there is a situation, there is a happening. And because there is a situation and there is happening, we have to respond to that appropriately. Another example is a death of someone. Diba? Normally, pag nakita natin umiyak yung tao kasi namatayan, we always say, sira na yung mental health niya. But the reality is, hindi sira yung mental health niya because that is the appropriate response when someone is in grief or namatayan yung tao, if someone is mourning. So that is an appropriate response. What may be not a appropriate response could be natatawa siya or hindi siya natatakot, etc., etc. So all of those, when you have to look at it na when you respond appropriately to the situation, then that is a normal reaction. That can be part of stress. That can be part of stress. Like your body's response to a certain pressure or to a certain challenges. How do we understand our mental health? Kasi normally, we only look at mental health pag depressed na yung tao or anxious na ang tao or in crisis na yung tao. But we have to look at it in the very simple 4 P's model of mental health. So you just have to remember the 4 P's. The first piece is the predisposing factors. So what made the person vulnerable? Sa inyo, what made you vulnerable? Diba? Few examples of predisposing factors could be like we are OFW, so living far from family in the Philippines, so that can be a predisposing factor. Second is what are those previous experiences with trauma or disaster that when marinig natin yung mga loud noises, it led us to remember something, so that can be a predisposing factor. The third could probably limited social support in a foreign country. It's good thing na tayo dito, I guess, because there is an organization, so we have the support system. We have this social support that help us cope with whatever problems or with the current situation that we are in. The second P is the precipitating factors. So basically, pag precipitating factors, we have to understand what triggered the problem. So, again, predisposing, what are your vulnerabilities as a person? Ito naman, what are the triggers? So, yun, loud noises, defense system sounds, news about regional conflict or possible attack, continuous exposure to alarming information on social media, concern about safety or family members. So that can be the precipitating factors. Or other precipitating factors could be current family situation. Like ngayon, yung current situation, like father and a mother is having a illness, or the marriage is not okay, or the interaction with children is not okay, so that can be considered as precipitating factor, what triggered the problem. The next is perpetuating factor, so what keeps the problem going. So it could be constantly watching or reading distressing news updates. It could be lack of sleep due to fear or hyper vigilance. Hypervigilance is yung not always ka on the go, like always ka on alert mode. Like baka may mangyari. So always ka prepared because you feel like something might happen. So that is hypervigilance. Next is isolation and limited emotional support. And the last is catastrophic thinking, expecting the worst to happen. So perpetuating, it is keeping the problem is ongoing. So patuloy siya. Kaya it affects our mental health. And the last is the protective factor. So what keeps the for protective factors, hindi siya what keeps the problem going, but what are your current strength? What are your current capacities? Or what are your current resources? So it could be support from fellow Filipinos or community groups. It could be communication with family in the Philippines, psychological first aid and emotional support services, your faith, your prayer, your spiritual practices that can also be part of the protective factors, access to accurate information from reliable sources, what other things, what are your positive traits, diba? You're kind, what are your financially, where you are right now, if you're in good financial situation, then that can be your protective factors. And other positive things that you have right now that can be considered as protective factors. 4 Ps is like this. If you try to look at it, there is ocean and there are different boats. The ocean could probably where we are right now. Like it could be the missiles, it could be the loud noises, it could be our location right now. And the boat is us person. If you try to look at it, iba-ibang boat. May malaking boat, merong medium na boat, meron ding maliliit na boat. And if you try to look at it, ang maliliit na boat is possible, baka malunod sila because maliliit sila. So what does it mean? We are all in the same ocean but not in the same boat. Same as well with mental health, we are in the same ocean. Same lang naman tayo may problema sa buhay. Same lang man tayo nandito. Lahat naman tayo nakakarinig ng mga noises, etc., etc. But why do we respond differently? We respond differently because we have different 4 Ps. Iba-iba yung predisposing factors natin, iba-iba yung vulnerabilities natin as a person, iba-iba din yung precipitating factors natin, yung mga triggers natin, yung mga problems natin. Iba-iba din yung perpetuating problems natin. What are those problems that we continuously facing? And iba-iba din yung protective factors natin. And if you try to look at the 4 Ps, normally, what we nurture as a person is not the protective factor, but, our attention goes into what is the problem. Our attention goes to bakit na-trigger ako sa problem na ito. Or the factor could be we are in a victim state na kasi marami akong vulnerabilities, marami akong kahinaan. And normally, if we don't ito yung mangyayari if we don't feed our protective factors, then there is a imbalance. And the imbalance will lead us into malulunod ka sa dagat, malulunod ka sa problema mo, and that will lead to a crisis. Aside from that, ito din yung mga 4 Ps model that we have to consider. Predisposing factors. What are those childhood experiences? What are those previous trauma? Family background and upbringing. What are those history of mental health concerns? Past coping. How did you cope from the pandemic, for example? How did you cope from last year's attack? How did you cope from a big family problem? What are those strategies that you used that help you cope from that? And family, social history ninyo, gaano ba yung quality of family relationships? Ano ba yung support from family, friends, and community? Gaano ba ka ma-impluwensya sa inyo ang cultural and religious? Tapos, other circumstances that you have to also to consider, financial and economic hardships, work or educational stress, adjustment to living abroad, or relocation. And these are things that you ask yourself right now. Guide questions. What past experiences made the person vulnerable? How the person faced a similar situation before? How did they cope in the past? And what strengths from the past experiences can help now? Because, for example, if we try to look at the protective factor, kung hindi siya na-nurture at lagi siyang ginagamit, tendency is mauubos siya. If mauubos yung protective factor, then how can we combat the predisposing, the precipitating, and the perpetuating factor? Because that is the model of mental health. So these factors affect how we respond to stress and how we cope with challenges related to our mental health. Example earlier, like ang sabi ko kanina, think of our mental health like a boat. So when a boat is strong, it can keep the water out. It can keep the stress out. It can keep the challenges out. But if the boat becomes weak or damaged, then water can enter. That's why it's really important that we nurture our protective factors. How do we take care of our mental health? Another thing also that you have to remember about mental health is our body remembers past experiences. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Our body remembers past experiences. Even something happened a long time ago, the emotions connected to it can still influence how our body reacts today. Our body has a memory of the past. And when we remember, for example, a certain emotions, example, nakita mo yung tao that parang it's a reflection of your father na you don't like, or attitude of your father that you don't like. So your body remembers. And how does your body remembers? When you see the person, there is a reaction. So there is fast, your feet might be trembling, your heart may be beating fast, or there is some sort of irritation. So that concept applies to that concept applies to how we look at mental health, how we respond to stress. Another example is when you are threatened. For example, ngayon, like the missiles, and most common parent that I've talked to so far, concern is the unemployment. Next is starting a new life. And how does it relate? Why does the body remember when ganito yung situation natin na ngayon lang ito nangyari? The body remembers because when there is a certain threat, diba? We go back to past experiences. Ayaw mo nang maging mahirap. Ayaw mo nang maging, ayaw mo magsimula ulit kasi ang hirap. So those experiences you had, the body remembers that. And when there is a common feeling that you felt during that time, your body remembers. Kaya when you heard sometime missiles, mga loud noises, you always, unconsciously, you relate it to that feeling na what will happen to me if wala na akong work? What will happen to me if I will do relocation? And that kind of thinking that what will happen to you creates the fight or flight mode, or your body respond to it. Because underlying that is that feeling of, you're not enough, your vulnerabilities, in short. You're not enough, that, you experience what you experienced before, the thought na yung self mo na ayaw mo noon, parang nagmamanifest siya because of what happened, because of the uncertainty, because of the uncertainty, because of that thought na baka if the conflict if the conflict escalates, then I might have this kind of consequences. And that thought is more, ano ba siya? Disturbing. Or other things, if you're a parent, maybe because you cannot provide anymore for your children, and that can have implication into how we respond to stress and to our overall mental health. Similarly, when our psychological resources are overwhelmed by stress, it can lead to a mental health crisis or mental health illness. So yung psychological resources natin, when is already overwhelmed by stress, then that can lead to a mental health crisis or mental health illness. So what are those common mental health conditions na a person may experience or may be diagnosed with are this? Number 1 is acute stress disorder. So anxiety and trauma symptoms. There is some sort of anxiety after a stressful event. It includes intrusive memories, avoidance, and hyperarousal. So the time frame for that is 3 days to 1 month after the traumatic event. Meaning to say, when the symptoms persist 3 days to 1 month after a traumatic event, then that can be considered acute stress disorder. The second is common, and the most common is for women, particularly generalized anxiety disorder. So persistent and excessive worry about different life situations. Symptoms includes restlessness, fatigue, muscle tension, sleep problems, and it occurs most for at least 6 months. So at least 6 months. And for this kind of diagnosis, we also have to consider the hormonal na mga babae, like when they are age 40 and starting 40 or 35 something according to the parang earliest age, merong perimenopausal, and those can be those can be attributed to that. So we have to differentiate, is the anxiety hormonal or is the anxiety a disorder? So that's some sort of things that you also have to look into. The next is major depressive disorder, persistent sadness, loss of interest, fatigue, feelings of hopelessness. It affects the daily functioning. The time frame is at least 2 weeks. If you experience this for at least 2 weeks, then that can be considered major depressive disorder. And the last common conditions is the PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. So there are flashbacking, there are nightmares, avoidance, hypervigilance. It occurs after exposure to a traumatic event. Symptoms persist for more than 1 month from 2 to 6 months from the time that the event happened. If 1 month lang siya, then that can be considered acute stress. If more than 1 month to 6 months, then PTSD. Sir, question, sir. I experience anxiety. I also experience trauma. I experience anxiety. I experience anxiety. I also express depression. But I'm still functioning. How do I know that I am already in crisis, or how do I know that this is not a normal response? Because sadness and anxiety, or fear, or threatened, sometimes those are common responses. However, if we draw the line between the normalcy of it to the abnormality of it. So how do we differentiate if it's already abnormal? So that led you to check the 4Ds. Ano ba tong 4Ds? Number 1, distress. You're not able to cope with the problem anymore. Lagi mo na lang siyang iniisip. You're not able to cope. Kung before, kaya mong ipagdasal siya, ngayon hindi na siya kaya, then that is a symptoms of distress. Second, danger. Meron ka ng rage of anger sa mga bata mo na normally hindi mo ginagawa. Meron ka ng danger sa sarili mo na there is that suicidal intentions. Sometimes it could be active and passive, or it could be to other people, like gusto mo nang manakit sa ibang tao, then that can be a sign that the behavior is no longer normal. Third is deviance, or your attitude is no longer typical of a normal person. Kasi cultural kasi minsan yung behavior natin. But if the behavior is no longer normal sa how we used to act on a certain behavior, then that is deviance. And the last is the dysfunction. You're no longer able to function as a person. Ayaw mo nang maligo, ayaw mo nang kumain, ayaw mo nang magtrabaho, affected na yung work mo, yung family mo. If we are all adults here, your sex life, your appetite, and other functions na before you're able to do it, but now you're not able to do it. And that can be dysfunctionality. So, these are something that you have to look into. If you felt like you have, parang you can relate to the certain symptoms, certain disorders that I presented a while ago. And you have to look at, if you're experiencing this, how do you know na you're already having disorder? So, try to align it with the 4Ds. Are you currently in distress? Are you currently in danger? Do you have deviance attitude or behavior? Or are you dysfunctional as of the moment? Then, you go back again to the symptoms. Or, better, you try to talk to a professional para may insight. And last na, I'm almost done. So, these are the coping strategies that can help you with what is happening right now. Number 1 is, breathe slowly. When your body respond, like yung sabi ko kanina, di ba? Our body remembers. And that's something na hindi na natin ma-change because when you talk about mental health, it is developmental. So, it develops gradually. Now, when it's already fully developed, ang mental illness mo, then probably, mahirap na siya. Kailangan na siya ng intervention. So, right now, when you feel like you are under fight or flight mode, kinakabahan ka, may trembling of your feet, or merong cognitive block nangyayari, then do this coping strategy. So, breathe slowly. So, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The proper way of doing that is you inhale through your nose and you exhale through your mouth. Bakit you inhale through your nose and in your mouth? Because it can help you relax your nervous system. Additionally, when you do breathing exercises, you do longer exhale. Bakit longer exhale? Kasi if longer inhale, it meant there is a battle. But if longer exhale, it meant that the problem is already solved. So that also signals our body na, you're okay, you're safe. You're okay and you're safe. So there's nothing to worry about. Kaya, di ba, when we take the examination, before we answer the paper, what we usually do is do deep inhale. Long, deep inhale. Kaya ko to. Or if may problem tayo, facing the boss, may problem tayo, di ba? But, if tapos na tayo sa examination, or tapos na tayo makipag-usap kay boss, what we usually do is, hi, salamat. So, same as well, if you're experiencing biological reaction, and do inhale, exhale. Then, talk to someone. I think that's already said na, and then, self-explanatory. Limit news and social media because the blue screen can help activate our brain para maging active siya. So normally, according to studies, ang blue light daw, it can nag-shut down siya or na-turn off siya 2 hours after using your gadget. So technically, when you're sleeping at 12, when you shut your phone at 12, normally you get better sleep at 2 a.m. So you count your sleep 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6. So that can, has implication into your biology, your physical health, at the same time to your mental health. Yan. Stay connected with loved ones. If you're a parent, I always suggest this to parents, to always talk to your kids every day. Like 5 minutes or 10 minutes of quality talk to your wife, to your kids. That's really, really important. What I meant about quality talk is not just about kamusta ka dong, kamusta ka day, ano yung gawa mo dyan. It's not that one. We talk about better prompts. Example, what kindness have you done today? What courage have you done today? How responsible are you today? What made you happy today? So that of conversation, quality conversation, every day, para masanay yung anak mo, masanay ka, masanay yung wife mo, and you will have a better family. A better family will lead to a better mental health. Other tips in talking to your children, sometimes I read yesterday yata, research na don't talk directly to them. Pagdating mo sa bahay, don't talk directly, kamusta ka. Maybe you can start with kissing, hugging, or in our culture, bless. Tapos, maybe you could feed muna, pakiramdaman muna. Ano ba yun? But you have to feel muna. Like you have to check muna, kamusta ba sila? Kamusta yung energy nila? Then before you open a conversation. Yan. Parang